Go ahead, Brian.
All right. Well, my name is Brian Johnson. I work for FourKites. Like John said, I'm going to be going through what the spotter application does. And first thing I want to talk about is the equipment that's going to be in. You're going to start seeing this equipment installed into the spotter trucks. Just give you an overview of what this equipment is because you're actually going to be seeing it. The first thing is in our system, we do what is called a drive-by inventory. That drive-by inventory, you see this tag right here. These tags will be on the trailers, and some of them will be permanently mounted. Some of them will be magnetically mounted, or they can be hanging on a carabiner. But some way or another, these tags will be attached to the front of the trailers. What these tags are, this is how we locate the trailers and how we keep up with where the trailers are at in the yard. And the way that works is that's an RFID tag. So there's an RFID signal that is sent from this antenna right here. We refer to this as the drive-by antenna. So you'll see this antenna being installed on the trucks. That antenna, its purpose is to find the trailers, locate them, and in the background, it's checking that location with where the system says that trailer is at. So as you're driving by, this system is actually doing an inventory of the trailers. It's checking that inventory, and it's actually adjusting those trailers if they're not in the GPS location that the system thinks they're in. So when the trailer arrives at the yard, it's taken out and it's parked. We may not know exactly where that trailer is at from that point. As soon as this spotter driver drives by it, that trailer will be located through this antenna right here and through the system, and it will update that location and tell us where that trailer is at. Now, I'm not going to say it's going to be exactly in that spot. And the reason for that is there's a thing called GPS drift. And what GPS drift is if I stand in a location and I watch a GPS bubble on a map throughout a 24-hour period, that bubble will actually move anywhere from 8 to 12 feet in either direction. The reason that is the satellites that make up the GPS location, we're not 100% accurate. We don't pay for military grade GPS. Yes, military can say pinpoint a location to within inches of where it's at. That costs a lot of money. The way the GPS works is it's a bounce signal. So the signal is going up and down to a satellite. That time that it takes for that signal to bounce is where that drift comes from. So that drift can, like I said, can be anywhere from 8 to 12 feet. That means this trailer may be in one of these 3 spots instead of this exact spot. So instead of just say, where's the trailer at? And we go out there and we look around and find it, we can go to the area and it's going to be one of those 3 trailers. So it's going to save us some time on finding trailers in the yard. The next piece of equipment is on the back of the cab. You're going to see an antenna that's mounted on that, and we call that the hookup antenna. What that antenna does is when you back into the trailer, you have a task on a tablet. You can see the tablet right here, and I'll be showing that here in a little bit. But that tablet is going to have your task on it. What that tablet's going to tell you is what trailer you're supposed to be connecting to and where you're going to take that trailer after you connect and hook up to it. This antenna is verifying when you hook up to that trailer that the trailer that you're connecting to matches the trailer that you have the task for. If it does not, as we go through this, when I go into the emulator, I don't have GPS, so I'm going to get some verification screens. The system actually does these verifications in the background, and we'll talk more about that when I get to it. This is how that antenna is looking down at that tag. That tag needs to be located somewhere in this lower right corner of or lower left front corner of the trailer, excuse me, somewhere in that area right there, so that antenna can actually see it when you're hooking up to it. This is what the tablet, now you guys will only see one task at a time on the tablet for right now. We call this round robin, and we have round robin and we have proximity dispatch engines that run in the background. The proximity will only show one, and that's generally what we start when we start up. If we find out that the round robin works better, then we can switch that. But the round robin just shows us a list of tasks that are out there to be done. In extremely large yards, the round robin works because if I go to a location and instead of just waiting for the next move, I may have a move down here on the bottom that is actually a more strategically a proper move to make because I can hook up to that trailer and take it. The other way, like the proximity, it's first come, first served. It's a first created, first dispatch. So you're going to get the next task that's been dispatched out. Other thing you notice about this is up here, there's some numbers on these. These are numbers that you can look at right here. This is just tasks that are out there to be done that may not be on my tablet, but there's tasks out there in the queue to be done. This is where they show up. And then it's going to tell me how many I've completed and how many that are actually assigned to me. This is what the tablet will look like in the truck. It's mounted over here on the dash, so you can reach it and you can see it, but it's not in your way of anything. This is the equipment that makes this system work. This is the brains of what's going to be in the truck. This will be mounted generally on the back of the cab, right behind the driver's seat. And what this consists of, and I don't expect you to be able to diagnose it, but I think you should be aware of what this equipment does and kind of the basics of what it does or how it works. First piece of equipment on here, this one over here, this is the shutdown timer. This is a safety device. This just keeps the batteries on the truck from running down if the truck's not in use and the system's in the truck. So what that does is we generally set that at a 2-hour time frame. So if I shut the key off and the key's off on that truck for 2 hours, it'll cut the power to the rest of the system. It can take up to 5 to 7 minutes for this system to boot up when you first start the truck. So we want to save that power. Say you're just going on lunch, you're going to be out for 30 minutes. You shut the truck off, the power is going to remain in this system for that 2-hour period. So we don't have to reboot when we come back out there and start that truck again. The other thing is on this shutdown timer, the shutdown timer provides the power for the rest of this the equipment. First one being this one right here. This is a router. This is a mobile router that's in the truck. There's a SIM card in this router. This router is our connection to the internet. This is an internet-based system, so we'll have to have a connection to that. It also creates a Wi-Fi signal inside the cab of the truck. Our tablet is Wi-Fi connected to this system through this router. On this tag right here, if the tablet gets disconnected from that Wi-Fi network, this tag is going to have the actual password and network name that we can put back into the tablet, so we don't have to remember that and have it somewhere else. This piece of equipment right here, this is called a power over Ethernet box, a PoE box. What this PoE box does serves two functions. It powers this device over here. This is actually the reader. This is actually what interprets that RFID signal. And it also provides a conduit for that data to be moved from the reader itself over to the router. So this Ethernet line right here, that's how our data is getting back and forth. And it just passes through this PoE injector. Then we have the reader itself. The reader is actually what's reading those tags. Like I said, it's attached to the antennas. That antenna will pick up that signal, pass it to the reader. The reader interprets that signal, puts it into the router to where we can get it into the internet where we can see where that piece of equipment is. It also has a connection to not only that tag, but all of the information. Is that trailer loaded? Where's that trailer going to? What's that trailer number? All of that information is housed, connected to that RFID tag. This is just another way of mounting. This is the original way that we mounted all of this equipment in the truck on the panel. This panel was over on the right-hand side above the window. The only reason I show this picture is so you can see the lights. These lights are how we know the system's working. So when you're in that cab, you fire that up and you're driving, you should have a row of lights on the router itself. These lights will be either blue or green. That tells me everything's working properly. And then this ramp signal is just like your cell phone. That tells me what the cell signal is. Also, the shutdown timer has a light on it. As long as it's got a green light, that means power's going through the shutdown timer. Everything's working correctly. If for some reason it's got a red light, that means that it's either been tripped or the power's not passing through it for some reason. So when it's shut off or no power going through it, power comes into this center post and goes out these two posts. So this is our in and out. This one right here, this actually goes to our ignition switch. That's how the shutdown timer knows that the ignition is turned on. The white wire is the power wire off of the ignition switch. So when I turn the ignition off, there's 12 volts that comes up there, tells that shutdown timer that the ignition key is on. The PoE box, it has a light down here. Now this light will actually flicker slightly as data is being passed through. As long as this green light's on, we've got power coming out of the shutdown timer going over to the PoE box. The PoE box actually powers the reader itself through this Ethernet cable. So the power comes in. Over here has got a power and a status light. The power light will be constantly green as long as there's power going to the reader. The status light will actually flicker or blink on and off as information is passed to and from the antennas. And then this is just another picture of the tag, and this is the mounting docking station that the tablet is actually mounted in. Any questions on the equipment itself? Please, at any time, if you do have questions, just ask, or I'll just keep rattling. This right here, once you log in, you're going to have a login screen. That's just you'll have a email address will be your username, and then you'll have a password that you set up. So that password will be set up. Once you put that in,
Hey,
you're going to
brother,
come to do what's that?
That's not what we're seeing. We're still seeing the tablet mount.
Yeah, when you log into the tablet, when you turn the tablet on, you'll have the login screen.
Yeah, but
The login screen.
We're not seeing the login screen on our screen right now.
No, you don't see the tablet on your screen?
We just see the tablet mount.
Yeah, I'm just explaining what you see the mount?
Yes.
All right, let me figure out what's going on with the share there. Well, that's my trouble with Zoom. Oh, come on, where's my share screen at? Well, for some reason, it's not even showing me where the screen share's at now.
I think you need to close this.
Like I said, there will be a login page that you just have. It's an email address, whatever your email address is, and then your password. There'll also be down below that, if you forget your password, as long as that's a good email address, you can hit that forgot password. It will email you a link to reset that password with in your email, whatever the email is that you use as your username. But once you log in, you're going to come to this screen right here. This screen right here just tells us that we're going to log into the Yard Jockey app. That's what we're going to be using. Once we click that Yard Jockey app, it's going to bring up a list of the trucks that you have available to use. So you're just going to choose the truck that you're going to drive and confirm that. Once you have confirmed that, then your task page will come up. As you see, when I logged in, as soon as I logged in, I have a task to do. That means there was a task out there waiting for somebody to log into a tablet so it could be dispatched to me. So once I get that task, the very first thing you want to do, no matter where you're at on the yard, you want to click that task. When you click that task, it was actually going to start that task for you. So you're going to go in here to the start screen. One other thing you want to notice on this is this right over here. See this check with the 1 on it? This tells me I have a message in the system. Somebody has put a note on the task. So when I click into that, it should bring up the message board. Now, emulator doesn't always work correctly, but it'll bring up the message board and tell me what that message is. But once I click into this task, it's going to tell me a couple of things about this task. First of all, it's going to tell me where this trailer needs to be picked up from, where this trailer needs to be dropped off to, and what trailer I'm going to be picking up. Again, wherever you're at in the yard, you want to start this task right now. The reason you want to start that task right now is our clock in the background is counting. As soon as that task went to my tablet, that task has got a timer attached to it that says, here's how long this task has been out there to be done. So, and that clock's running in the background, you never see it. It also has a clock that when you start that task started will also be clocked. So you want all of your time that you're on the yard driving, you want all of that time to be accounted for. So by starting this task, your time driving to the trailer is counted in this task. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes, no, maybe? Once I get to the trailer, once I drive over to the trailer, now you notice over here, this actually shows me where I'm at on the map. This is where I don't have a GPS because this is an emulator, but this is showing me where the system thinks this truck that I'm driving is at. So then when I hook to this trailer, when I drive over to the trailer and I physically hook up to it, when I hit this hook, the system is going to verify the trailer that I'm hooking to through the RFID tag. If I'm not at the right trailer, then it's going to ask me to verify. It's going to say, this is the trailer that we're reading the tag for. Is this the trailer that you're supposed to be connecting to? So you shouldn't see this as long as the tag is being read by the antenna. So I just have to, because it's an emulator, I have to say it that I'm hooking to it. Now I'm hooked to it. Now that clock that I was talking about, instead of being started, now we're in a hooked state. So now we're counting time that it takes us to actually move this trailer. So I take this trailer and I drive over to this drop-off space, and then I physically unhook from it. Then I hit my unhook button. Once I hit my unhook button, again, this verification screen's not going to be seen as long as my GPS is working and my tag reader RFID tag is working. Because what it's doing is it's verifying my GPS location with the map. So it tells me that I have an expected location of this. This is the location that the task said to drop this trailer in. If I got over to this spot and there was already a trailer there, so I'm going to have to drop this trailer in another spot, then I can select down here, because when I back into that other spot, when I go to unhook, I'm going to see this screen because I'm not dropping this trailer in the GPS location that it was assigned to be dropped at. So I'm going to see this, and then I'm going to say other. When I say other, it's going to give me a list of parking spots that I can park that trailer in. So if I say other and I continue, then it's going to go up here and it's going to give me a list of all of the different parking spots that I can drop this trailer at. So I just select the parking spot. Once I select that parking spot that I'm actually dropping that trailer and I hit OK, it's going to drop that trailer in that location instead of the location that it was actually said to be dropped at.
Hey, Brian.
Does that all make sense?
Hey, Parker, I think you're mute. All right, Brian, quick something here for the yard team. That screen for a yard driver is very important, because if you put that trailer in the wrong location and you did not verify it systematically that that trailer is in the wrong location, you're going to have a domino effect on the yard. And the domino effect is that the next driver that is coming behind you to drop a trailer is going to slot their trailer in the wrong location. Another driver is going to put, so the yard is going to get off sync. The entire yard is going to be messed up because one, a driver did not stop and verify the location where they're dropping their trailer. So that screen where it is asking you the expected location and the GPS location, for a yard driver, that is the most important screen that you will have in terms of dropping a trailer. And it will be very important that you verify your locations before you drop your trailers, because the moment you did not verify your location and you put your trailer, because you just saw that location, that space was empty, but that is not the correct space, the system is seeing that trailer in a different location. We are physically seeing that trailer in a different location. And if we check in a trailer and we're thinking that location is empty, but you put something there and you did not verify it in the system, another driver is going to mess up the yard. And the entire yard, we have another flow center right now in New Jersey that doesn't have this GPS turned on for them. And it's taking them hours and hours to find trailer on the yard, which is impacting their driver productivity, which now they are being put on action trackers to get or process plan to improve their numbers. But this is caused because their drivers are not verifying this location. You not verifying a location can add somewhere between an hour and 30 minutes of you finding a simple trailer on the yard. That is how important it is that you verify your locations before you unhook from that trailer when you're putting it in the yard. And when you're putting it in a yard that you know that off-site or over-the-road drivers are also dropping trailers, because we can trust over-the-road drivers sometimes to put their trailers in the right location. So it now falls on us to make sure that the ones we're putting there, they are in the right location. Go ahead, Brandon.
Okay. Now, once I finish that, as soon as I unhook from that trailer and finish that move, if there's another move out there, another task out there for me, it's automatically going to put that on my screen. So now, just like a while ago, when I go to start that task, I've unhooked from that first one. I'm pulling away from it. I want to go ahead and look at this task, get in here, telling me where I'm going to pick it up and where it's going to be dropped off at. So again, I want to start that task and then drive to the trailer itself. I drive over to the trailer. I hook to it. Again, it's going to ask me to verify the trailer simply because I don't have the GPS and the RFID. It's asking me to verify this is the trailer that I'm connecting to. You shouldn't see this as long as our hookup antenna is working. And so I'm just verifying. Now, once I've hooked to it, now I'm going to drive over to where I'm going to drop this trailer off at, and I'm going to hit the unhook after I've completed manually unhooking from it. I get in the truck and I hit this unhook. And now once I get the unhook again, it's asking me to verify simply because I don't have the GPS. The GPS should verify that I'm in this dock door. Again, as Alan said, very important that if you see this screen, you're not at the right dock door. So you need to figure out, what went wrong here. I've got to get this in the right door, because it's going to ask you if you're not in the proper GPS location. We don't do that background inventory that I was talking about, the drive-by inventory. We don't do that for dock doors. The dock doors stay accurate by drivers dropping the trailers in the correct location and coordinators inside requesting the proper dock door for that trailer to be put in. So I just hit the yes. Like I said, you shouldn't see it. It should be all done systematically. Now, once I get done with that, it's going to go back to this main screen. As you see, I don't have any more tasks to do in the main screen. Any questions about either pulling or spotting a trailer in the dock door? No questions. Then there is a couple of other things that the tablet can do for you. Number one is if I get somewhere and I have to move a trailer, but I don't have a task for it. I'm moving, say a driver dropped the trailer in the wrong place and I want to move that trailer to somewhere else. Or if I have a task to go pick up a trailer that's a long way away and I want to bring an empty trailer back to closer, I may not have a task for that. I just know that needs to be done because it's part of my daily job. Then I have this over here that says I can do a manual task. See this plus button right here? If I hit that plus button, I'll go into a manual task. So now I can create my own task to do. What it's going to ask me here is, why am I doing this manual task? And we can create reasons for that. Murphy and I were talking about it the other day about what some of those reasons could be. And Alan, you guys and Murphy can figure out what these reasons should be that I might do a manual task. Go ahead.
So manual tasks probably going to fall under if you are doing audit in the yard. Let's say we print out the audit sheet and say, hey, please go check and audit this yard. That is going to be a manual task because you're moving trailers around and we still want you to get those numbers or attach those moves to you as it counts towards your production for the day. So you manually move those trailers. So you create a manual move. You're moving like box truck around or moving a storage trailer in the yard. That probably going to be a yard cleanup. We still want you to get those numbers attached to your production at the end of the day, because we have a certain number of moves you have to complete within the hour. So we don't want it to be something that you do it and no, you don't get those numbers attached to your productivity at the end of the shift, and then your manager is holding you accountable for something that you were actually working throughout the entire hour. So yard audit, yard cleanup, like moving trailers around, storage trailers from door back to the yard or from the yard to the door for them to unload. Those are the two things that's going to fall under. Manual move being the yard audit. When you find a trailer that's in the wrong spot, you move it to the right spot. That's a manual move. Yard cleanup, moving trailers around for operation or for the E&F team.
Doing this manual move, like I said, you're going to do yard cleanup. I just select the yard cleanup. This attaches in the reporting side of it that tells everybody that's looking at the report that why we done this manual move, because it's going to audit it as a manual move. And then here's why we done that manual move. First thing it's going to be, you see this screen right here. You should not see this screen because of the RFID reader. It should read the trailer that you're connecting to, and it should be verifying that this is the trailer. Because I'm using an emulator, I have to go to the change equipment and pick a piece of equipment to move. So I go in here and I select the trailer or the company, the carrier. And then once I hit next, it's going to give me a list of trailers that company has on the yard. And then I can just select the trailer that I'm connecting to for that company. Now it's going to read. Now, What you should see when you hook up to the trailer is this right here. This is what I'm connecting to. So then you can go to hook equipment instead of change equipment. That being said, if I hook up to a trailer or I go to connect to a trailer and I have the verification screen that says, this is not the trailer that you're connecting to, this is how you do that. You change the equipment, you go through, you find the equipment that you're actually connecting to, and then you proceed from there to hooking the equipment up. So once I hook to this equipment, it's going to ask me to verify that I'm hooking to it because it's still, I'm not reading that RFID tag. Once I connect to that trailer, now it's just going to ask me, where am I taking that trailer? So I'm going to take that trailer, I'm going to move that trailer to wherever it is. Again, it's GPS and RFID locating me in the yard. So when I hit the unhook, it's going to ask me to verify that the spot that I'm dropping this spot right here, this just is the spot that the system, my emulator system, thinks this is where that trailer's at, or this is where my truck is located at. So if I hit no, now I go back to that. I can find a spot to put it in. I just find a door or a parking spot in the parking lot that I'm at. Once I find that location that I'm going to drop that trailer, I'm going to go back because once I find that location and I select that location that I'm putting that trailer, now it's going to ask me to confirm that the trailer status is correct. Because I'm doing a manual move, it's going to ask me for status. So as long as that trailer's still full, then I would just leave this alone. If it's different than what the system thinks it is, then I can make that adjustment. It's either going to be the partially loaded, empty, or full is all that it's going to look at. Once I confirm that trailer is going to be dropped. The move is complete. It's in your audit that you've done that manual move. Any questions about manual moves? The last thing that we have in the system is inventory. If you hit this, now we was talking about you doing a yard audit. The yard is broke up into different parking areas. It doesn't matter if it's a set of dock doors or if it's a parking lot, but we've divided that into different areas. You have the A lot that you seen there a while ago. So if I look at this inventory, if I go into the inventory, the first thing it's going to ask me is what area am I going to inventory? So I look over here and I pick the A lot. Once I start that, every trailer that's in the A lot is going to be listed over here on the left side. What it says is there's 77 trailers that I should find as I'm driving the A lot. My recommendation for this is if I'm going to do an inventory, I go do a drive-by. I do a couple of drive-bys on that parking area. Then I select the inventory module and I go in here and I check. What the drive-by is going to do is it's going to adjust all of those RFID tags to the location that the system will know where they're at. Now I go back and all of the trailers that's in that lot, I should expect to find. If there's one that the drive-by did not pick up, but the system thinks it's there, it's still going to say that it's expecting me to find that trailer. Other thing about this right here is this little emblem over here on the left side. That should be the first trailer that I come to, because that little emblem tells me what trailer is closest to the GPS location of my truck. So if the GPS location says that my closest point is this one, that should be the first trailer that I come to. So what I do when I'm doing inventory is I go up here and I find this trailer. I just click on this trailer right here and these little boxes down here. What this is the green one says, I found this trailer. It's going to move it over to the found line. And it just said, okay, now you go to the next trailer. The next thing is going to go back. It's going to check that GPS location again. It's going to find the next trailer that I should find and put that emblem out there beside of it. When I click on that trailer, now if that trailer is not where it's supposed to be or not found, when I complete my complete inventory of the location of that parking lot, if I have trailers that I've not found, I can hit this red X. It will put those in a missing or an unassigned area. That way, when I drive the rest of the yard, if it finds it, it can place that trailer where it's at. Or I can finish my inventory and say the driver came and got that trailer and it didn't get checked out. And so it still thinks it's in the yard. So this is a way to find that I've got a trailer out there or a trailer missing from the yard. The other thing is if it's there, but it's not in the correct parking spot, if I found that in a different parking spot than what it's supposed to be in, then this cross right here, I hit that and it's going to ask me what location did I find that trailer in. So once I pick the location I found that trailer in, then again, it will put it over here in the found and I continue on down. Once I complete all of my trailers over here and they're all over here in the found, or I have them in the missing, I just complete the inventory and it will update the inventory in the audit trail. And then I can go on about I'm just going to cancel because I don't want to create a missing audit. So that's the way you do an inventory. My suggestion on inventory is wait until you've got a good feeling of the system itself and then start doing inventory. Do drive-bys, make sure everything's right before I ever start this inventory. Our guys will be there. Like I said, they're going to be there with you. If you want to try this, they understand it. They can walk you through doing it. Any questions? Logging out. When I log out, I just go down here to this log out. It's going to ask me if I'm logging out. It's going to ask me one more thing. Say it's lunchtime. I'm going to log out for lunch because I don't want my lunchtime on in my reporting to say that I was on duty with pending tasks and I'm idle. So I go in here and I can pick lunch, or I'm putting fuel in the truck, or it's the end of my day, or if I'm just taking a break. Once I choose whatever one it is, I log out. In my reporting, it tells me why that reason, what did I log out for. Any questions? Here's what the login screen looks like. When you go to log in, you hit login and then that screen will come up to give you the actual login. Any questions at all?
Hey, Brennan. So for Target, when you go to log into this screen, it will ask you for you to log in to put your Target email. You put your Target email because it is running through 4Kites for Target. You will get another screen that's going to tell you to do a single sign-on, which authenticates that you work for Target. So because of Target security team, once you put in your information here, it will ask you to put your email. If you put your email and sign in, you go to a Target screen that will authenticate. It should never bring you to put your password. If it's bringing you to put your password, you need to X out and try logging in again. You should never put a password here to log into the tablet on your computer. Once you put your email and put sign on, it needs to redirect you to another screen that wants you to authenticate that you are a Target employee, or you are a Target vendor that works for Target. So you authenticate yourself and then you should be able to log into the system. Any question on that?
If there's no questions, that's all I have. And again, I'll stress that we'll have people there that can actually ride in the truck with you or answer any questions that you have on the spot. Alan, for you, I think Danny's going to be there, and Danny knows about as much or more about this system than I do.
Yes, so Danny's gonna be there on site. A lot of people are gonna be there on site to ride along with the drivers to answer any question that you might have in terms of operating the system. But going through this training, they are coming into your tractor with the belief that you understand the basics of the system, having gone through this training. So if you have any question or anything that you want to ask, please go ahead and ask it now. If not there, then we will let you guys go because I know we have another class from 11 to
Yeah, I've got another one in like 15
11
minutes.
to 12 o'clock,
Yep.
team. So thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Alan, and we'll see you here in about 15 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Goodbye, everybody.